Greetings, dear friends. Have you ever thought you were about to escape your troubles, only to find everything worsening? Yun Seong once believed that too. After the graduation exam, while others rejoiced, Yun Seong stood silently on the rooftop, telling himself that all suffering was about to end. Yet, there was one undeniable truth: on that day, he had lost his life. However, reality proved to be harsher than hell itself. Yun Seong vaguely heard his grandmother arguing with someone. "What nonsense are you talking about? Are you saying my grandson cannot wake up? Telling me to give up so soon?" Yun Seong realized he might have become a mere vegetable in the eyes of others. But the caress and voice of his grandmother were crystal clear, and he firmly believed he would awaken soon. Though he had never been seriously ill throughout his life, his body felt as if it were sinking into an endless abyss. He heard his grandmother's cries growing louder, yet he could do nothing. The people in the hospital advised her to let go, but she could not, since losing her parents, Yun Seong, had been raised by her since childhood. His grandmother screamed in despair. "Move just a little, just let me know you're alive. Please, move." Her desperate cries echoed throughout the hospital, while Yun Seong could only listen in silence. Time slipped away, and then his younger brother, Yun Tae, came to find him, weeping bitterly. It turned out that those who had bullied him now tormented even the place itself. Their grandmother had to work to afford his medications, resulting in her falling. His brother helplessly said, "If you keep this up, it would be better to just let go. If you leave, we won't have to suffer like this. I beg you to wake up. Don't just lie there." But Yun Seong could not shed tears nor end his own life. He could only comfort himself, believing he just needed to endure a little longer. 3 years passed, and his brother had not visited him in a long time. That day, Yun Seong suddenly heard people murmuring that his grandmother was gravely ill. They immediately snickered. "Then we can just turn up the TV volume." Yun Seong could not believe how cruel these people were. But at that moment, what he despised most were the bullies who had tormented him, as well as the teachers who had turned a blind eye to their actions. "If a miracle could happen, let me return to the past. I will surely eradicate all of them." In his mind, Yun Seong continuously envisioned ways to punish them. He wanted to return double the pain he had endured. Yet, even if he inflicted physical suffering upon them, it could never compare to the turmoil within himself. "You have not only turned me into a mere vegetable, but you have also dragged my grandmother, who toiled her entire life, into this mess." Yun Seong reflected on all the torment he had endured. Though in his mind he had annihilated all his enemies, that did not bring him satisfaction, for eliminating them directly was truly too easy. He needed a meticulous plan to completely obliterate their lives, forcing them to live in despair, devoid of vitality. After 10 long years, Yun Seong's vengeance plan was finally complete. Yet he remained just a helpless figure lying on a hospital bed. He began to pray, "Please help me end this wretched life." Suddenly, an image appeared in his mind, an exact reflection of himself, like a mirror. In his confusion, the familiar noise of recess echoed in his ears. Everything around him felt both familiar and strange. He touched his face, convinced that this was merely a dream, but the pain coursing through his body yanked him back to reality. He grasped a pen from the table, and plunged it fiercely into his thigh. The pain jolted him to clarity. This was not a dream. I have truly returned to that moment. A scream for help rang out beside him. It was Park Myung-chul beating a classmate. This scene, Yun Seong would never forget. This was the beginning of all the suffering in his past life. Confronted with school bullying, no one dared to step in and help. Once again, Yun Seong stepped forward. Just as he had before, Park Myung-chul thought he must have misheard. "Do you know the consequences of this? If you think you are different from him, then you are mistaken." Before Park Myung-chul could continue his taunts, Yun Seong wasted no time and punched him squarely in the face. In that moment, he imagined countless times before. It finally became reality. Park Myung-chul was a notorious thug in school. He did not merely bully classmates, he coerced everyone into entertaining him, even threatening them to pay him for his amusement. Lee Young-min could no longer endure it, retorting with a remark, and soon found himself brutally beaten. That day, Yun Seong witnessed true violence for the first time. Initially, he did not want to intervene, but recalling the image of Lee Young-yun kindly solving problems for him, he could not stand by idly. At that moment, his classmates tried to advise him against meddling in others' affairs. However, with his excellent athletic record, few could best him in an arm wrestling match, and so he was unafraid of this conflict. Although the teacher's arrival delayed the confrontation, from that day forth, Park Myung-chul's group kept a watchful eye on him. Every day, Kim Yun Seong was dragged out by a group of thugs, leaving his face bruised and battered. After class, they forced him to perform for their amusement. His life had plunged into a hell from which there seemed no escape. Meanwhile, his classmates looked on in shock, none daring to confront the bully. Just as Park Myung-chul was about to counterattack, he was suddenly pulled back by his hair, his face crashing hard against the table. A sharp pain radiated throughout his body, and his legs trembled. No one expected the gentle class president to harbor such brutal strength. Kim Yun Seong did not relent, for Park Myung-chul's fighting style relied on his physical advantage to overwhelm his opponents. A single well-placed blow was all it took to gain control, after which he would be left to endure the punishment. At this moment, Park Myung-chul was in a daze, clearly remembering that he had not instigated any conflict. Why is this guy attacking so viciously? As if he harbors a deep-seated grudge, Kim Yun Seong had been waiting for this moment for a decade. Now, he had completely lost control. Suddenly, a chair flew through the air, forcefully interrupting his actions. It turned out that Park Myung-chul's group had arrived. "You bastard, let Kim Yun Seong go," one of them shouted. "If I can't call Jung Min-ho, who would have thought this guy would be so unafraid? Does he have some sort of backing?" Meanwhile, a muscular thug made his move first. "Today, I'll teach you what rules are." This man was the strongest in the group. Kim Chong-hyuk faced him, unsure in his heart whether he could defeat him. At that moment, someone shouted, "A teacher is coming." The gang of thugs had no choice but to retreat temporarily. Kim Chong-hyuk left with a threat. "After school, I will come find you. Don't even think about running away. We won't let you down." During class, Park Myung-chul was still lost in thought. "I only remember being slapped once. How could I end up slammed to the ground like this? Perhaps I underestimated him too much, letting him bully me like this." After the school bell rang, Park Myung-chul immediately stood up from his seat. In an instant, a dark figure dashed past him. He was kicked outside. Park Myung-chul's mind instantly fell into a state of paralysis. What on earth had just happened? He could only see Kim Yun Seong angrily stating, "There's still much between us to resolve." Park Myung-chul could never have anticipated that this guy would not only refuse to run away but would also want to fight right here. At that moment, Jung Min-ho and Kim Chong-hyuk's group charged in aggressively. Upon seeing Park Myung-chul's classmates, they immediately recognized the severity of the situation. As the group reached the door, they were met with the sight of Kim Yun Seong, covered in blood. He taunted them, "Sorry, you all arrived too late." Kim Chong-hyuk immediately charged forward. For Park Myung-chul, this man was the most formidable opponent. A direct confrontation would surely lead to defeat. However, dealing with him wasn't overly difficult. All it required was a method he had never employed before. In this life, Kim Yun Seong had completely transformed. To execute his plan for revenge, he would not hesitate to use any means necessary, even the most despicable. No matter how powerful Kim Chong-hyuk is, as long as I exploit his weaknesses, he won't last long. The two beside him swallowed nervously, their eyes filled with dread. Kim Yun Seong hurled the iron chain in his hand, turning his gaze towards Zhao Rongtai. Like a raging bull, he charged forward, mercilessly crushing Zhao to the ground. Zhao Rongtai had no time to react, being overwhelmed by Kim Yun Seong's storm-like punches until he could no longer resist. Even though Jung Min-ho might soon join the fray, he did not care. One by one, he would eliminate his foes. That was the best way to avoid being outnumbered. At that moment, Kim Yun Seong appeared as a demon, and Zhao Rongtai was beaten to the point of losing all awareness. Yet, he realized his stamina seemed to be waning. Nevertheless, he could not afford to stop now. He must decisively deal with the last opponent. Jung Min-ho was so terrified that he could barely control himself. Was he not just an ordinary person we had once underestimated? He had never been this powerful before. Why did he seem like a monster risen from the depths of hell? Kim Yun Seong uttered a single sentence, "Between us, this debt remains unpaid." Jung Min-ho's hands began to tremble uncontrollably. He feared he too would be beaten to a point where he could not fend for himself. Fortunately, such a loud commotion had attracted the attention of the homeroom teacher. In Jung Min-ho's heart, a flicker of joy arose. He had injured 3 people. From the school's perspective, this was no trivial matter. "You're finished now, kid." Naturally, the homeroom teacher reprimanded him very harshly. To avoid being implicated, the teacher intended to place all the blame on him. But what he did not expect was Kim Yun Seong's nonchalant retort. "You don't need to worry so much, sir." After all, this wasn't the first time he had encountered violence. Wasn't he quite skilled at handling such matters? This time, just deal with it like you always do. Help me resolve this without making a fuss." Immediately, the homeroom teacher slapped him. Meanwhile, the other teachers acted as if they were completely unaware. However, their reactions were not surprising. The tragic fate of his past life was not solely due to the bullies but also because of those cowardly adults. Especially the homeroom teacher, who had secretly committed despicable acts. Yun Seong had gently threatened, "If you keep up your antics, I will have no choice but to expose your bribery. As far as I know, you frequently communicate with Young Minho's mother. Furthermore, there are secrets between you and the foreign language teacher that must not be revealed. Therefore, it would be wise for you to keep your mouth shut, lest I hesitate to unveil everything. You are merely a fraud disguised in moral pretense." Many have wondered why no one reports bullying to the teachers. In his past life, Yun Seong tried to do so, but the teacher remained indifferent. He merely advised the students to live in harmony. This left Yun Seong plummeting into a deep abyss, where the bullies grew increasingly ruthless. He could hardly comprehend how teacher, upon witnessing a student being bullied, would not at least feel a responsibility to investigate the situation seriously. And on that day, when he was beaten, the teacher bore witness to it all. He could only hope that this time, the teacher would punish them severely. But to his dismay, that person turned away as if nothing had happened. Later, he learned that the homeroom teacher frequently accepted bribes. Young Minho's parents were among his biggest investors. From that moment on, Yun Seong decided to take matters into his own hands with strength. That day, the battle between him and the bullies was fiercely intense. Young Minho's parents themselves came to school to exert pressure, resulting in Yun Seong's grandmother having to apologize. Meanwhile, Young Minho's bullies remained unscathed, basking in their impunity. Only after becoming weak did he realize that relying solely on strength could not grant him revenge. It was only by thoroughly resolving the issues caused by adults that he could achieve true vengeance. At that moment, the homeroom teacher felt panic rise as his secrets were laid bare. Yun Seong said, "Before speaking with me, you should think carefully." Every month, he received money from Young Minho's parents and had a shady relationship with an English teacher who had 3 children. Moreover, there were many other dark secrets. Do you want me to continue? If everything is exposed, you certainly will not be able to continue teaching. Don't think that simply saying, "It's just a rumor," will suffice. If not, I am prepared to drop out to drag you down into the abyss. In the end, the homeroom teacher had to concede to him. "What do you want me to do?" The method is very simple, just as before. One eye closed, one eye open will suffice. The only difference is that now, I am the one being protected. If you can quash today's incident, I promise never to use your secrets to threaten you until graduation. Do you understand my meaning? The homeroom teacher was captivated by Yun Seong, but he was just the first pawn in the grand plan. Preparations for the next piece needed to be made swiftly. However, first, another matter had to be addressed. At this moment, Young Minho was wandering through the classroom. He had just been frightened by Yun Seong. However, this should not be allowed to come to light. He needed to solidify his position in this school. He could not allow a brat like Yun Seong to threaten his status. After venting his stress, he began to plot. Yun Seong had defeated 3 people. This was surely just a coincidence. If I were alone, I could easily take him down. Yet Yun Seong seemed to have heard my thoughts. Arriving just in time, we still have unfinished business. Young Minho immediately felt a cold sweat run down his back and lunged in to attack without hesitation. His entire body, along with the chair, was hurled out into the open. The fierce figure from moments ago had now transformed into a sheep poised for slaughter. Yun Seong charged forward, delivering a brutal kick to his chin, blood and saliva splattering everywhere. Young Minho began to scream for help. "This lunatic! Someone, please come save me!" Suddenly, the homeroom teacher appeared. Young Minho thought he had found a lifeline, but the teacher turned and walked away. "I advise you not to dream of anyone coming to your aid. In this school, no one will stand up for you." The surrounding students were so frightened they dared not even breathe loudly. In their eyes, Yun Seong's life had already come to an end. The principal had long desired to turn this school into a prestigious institution. Thus he must maintain connections with influential students and parents. Currently, the 4 students with powerful backgrounds had been taken to the hospital by Yun Seong. The principal was adamant about expelling him. When the English teacher raised his hand in approval, the homeroom teacher immediately gestured with his sleeve for silence. "If you don't want our relationship exposed, then protect Yun Seong. If he gets expelled, we both will lose everything." The homeroom teacher glanced furtively at Yun Seong. The calmness on his face sent chills down the teacher's spine. He quickly pleaded with the principal. Even if Yun Seong has made mistakes, the responsibility does not lie solely with him. According to the reactions of the students, Yoon Minho and his gang frequently bullied their classmates. I had intended to find an opportunity to punish them, but I never anticipated that Yun Seong, a student unable to endure bullying, would spark such an event. Before becoming the aggressor, he too had once been a victim. If we simply punish him in this way, we would be going against the very essence of a teacher's duty. Ultimately, the principal announced that a review committee would convene in a week. At that time, they would discuss how to handle Yun Seong. However, before the meeting, Yun Seong would endure a suspension. A week later, he and his parents arrived at the school for the report. Yun Seong coldly replied, "I know." The homeroom teacher hurriedly followed. "I tried to speak well of you. But this is not something I can resolve." Yun Seong understood this all too well. The reason he pulled the teacher into his scheme was largely because this individual was easily manipulated. If used correctly, he would wholeheartedly support me, Yun Seong said. "I know you tried your best. But from the beginning, the teacher was aware of the bullying against the student. Remember, until I graduate, there is only one way to silence me. That is, at any moment, you must be devoted to me. If you are not loyal, I will shatter your life. I assure you I will fulfill my promise." Though at this moment Yun Seong desperately wanted to strip him of all dignity. A fleeting rage could not make him discard this strategic card. "As long as I secure a solid position in this school, you will remain a valuable asset." A week later, everything the principal anticipated would turn in a direction completely opposite to his predictions. After 10 years confined to a sickbed, Yun Seong finally returned home. They lived in an old apartment. Though he had once scorned it in his youth, now he felt an overwhelming sense of nostalgia when he heard that his grandmother had to sell their home to cover medical bills. Yun Seong felt as if his entire world was collapsing. Upon arriving home, he discovered that his grandmother was not there. Perhaps she had gone out to earn some money. He adjusted his mood, refusing to dwell in sorrow any longer. The chance to live again was a rare gift, beyond seeking revenge. He needed to ensure his grandmother wouldn't worry about food and shelter. This week, he had to prepare meticulously. The future plan was crystal clear. First, enhance personal strength, but if he could draw that person into the plan, the battles ahead would hold a significant advantage. Secondly, build a force capable of standing against the thugs. Relying solely on himself, a student with nothing in hand, it would be incredibly challenging to achieve revenge. The third plan, which was the most crucial, was to find someone capable of resolving all issues, actualizing every scheme, and managing the board of evaluation within a week. This situation needed immediate resolution. Luckily, during his hospital stay, he had gleaned much information from the television daily. Recently, Chairman Kim Hae-kyung had been searching for a successor. The eldest son, Go Chong-bin, possessed only a high school education, while the youngest son, Go Chong-bong, not only graduated from a prestigious university but also married the daughter of an influential family. Expanding his connections, that day, Go Chong-bin was arrested at the police station for assault, even though he tried to explain that he was merely a victim. There were no surveillance cameras to testify to the events. Those at the station were well aware of the Sao family's context. A powerful force, releasing him would offend his brother Go Chong-bong, whose influence currently surpassed that of the elder brother. Go Chong-bin understood clearly that this incident significantly impacted the inheritance battle. Yet, he felt utterly powerless to clear his name. In a moment of despair, unexpectedly, a student resembling a high schooler appeared beside him. The figure pointed towards Go Chong-bin. "I have come here to testify for this gentleman." As the police reviewed the video, they finally began to believe that Go Chong-bin was not the aggressor. With no surveillance cameras at the scene, Yun Seong had requested a video from the cameras of the parked cars nearby. He was deliberately targeted by that group, leaving him no choice but to defend himself justly. If there was any fault, it was merely his superior strength that allowed him to defeat his opponents. Go Chong-bin embraced Yun Seong. Not only is he handsome, but he also speaks so eloquently. With the overwhelming evidence, the police had no choice but to release him. Go Chong-bin grabbed the collar of the officer. "I will remember your face. Your life from now on will be quite interesting." Shortly after, Go Chong-bin sought to express his gratitude to Yun Seong by handing him a stack of money. "I had thought that students at this age would feel flustered by such a large sum of money. But to my surprise, he remained utterly composed. It seemed he was no ordinary person." Yun Seong asked in astonishment. Do you really think today's events were mere coincidence? Let me be frank with you. I know you are the eldest son of the Kyung-jung group. And Go Chong-bin is competing for the inheritance with his brother Go Chong-bong. Upon hearing this, Go Chong-bin's expression darkened instantly. Who exactly are you? Kim Yun Seong showed no fear. I don't think today's events were just a coincidence. Moreover, there is evidence to prove whether my words hold truth. If you genuinely appreciate my help, grant me 1 hour. I assure you that I will not be a hindrance, but rather I can change the course of your future. The two of them went to a cafe, where Kim Yun Seong handed him the original surveillance video. It turns out that 30 minutes before the incident, those people were still standing there, refusing to leave. It was only when Go Chong-bin arrived that they deliberately provoked him. In fact, Mr. KHU, you had your own doubts as well, didn't you? After the competition for the inheritance began, it seemed someone was intentionally making things difficult for you. In reality, it was all orchestrated by your brother Go Chong-bong to tarnish your reputation. Go Chong-bin asked, so what is your goal? Hearing that the other party wanted to help him seek revenge and become the next heir, he couldn't help but laugh. You, just a student, is that so? Yet, Kim Yun Seong's following words made him serious. I know there are many people around you vying for the position. Don't you realize they were all sent by your brother? I understand you may not believe me at first, but I hope you can give me a chance to build trust. Go Chong-bin pondered to himself. This person speaks the truth. Compared to my brother, I truly have no advantages. If this continues, the position of heir will surely be snatched away. Can a child whom I've only just met be trusted, at this moment? He recalled the words his father had spoken. If one lacks ability, one should seek those who possess it to serve as subordinates. You need not concern yourself with their age or gender, as long as they prove useful to you. Go Chong-bin resolved to take a bold step. First, tell me your plan. I will listen carefully before making a decision. Kim Yun Seong stated frankly. Go Chong-bong is indeed a better choice for the heir. Not only has he graduated from a prestigious school, but he has also married into a wealthy family. Most people have been drawn to him. As for you, aside from being the eldest son, there are no other opportunities. However, I still believe you have the potential to become the next heir. Even though Go Chong-bong currently holds the advantage, Chairman Go Chong-ming still wishes for his eldest son to inherit the family fortune. If Go Chong-bong, who excels in every field, were to find himself in a situation like yours, who do you think your father would choose as the heir? Next, you must meet 3 conditions to win. The first is background, but you have long since failed in that regard. Go Chong-bong has connected with the local family through marriage. The second is evaluation. At present, your reputation is that of an arrogant and boastful individual. The third is ability. While you squander time, Go Chong-bong has secured his position within the company. Now, returning to the first point, you need to create a rift between Go Chong-bong and his wife. As soon as she stops supporting him, he will return to square one, just like us. Not long after, Go Chong-bong's younger brother received troubling news. His wife abruptly arrived at a small villa belonging to him, confronting her lover. This incident severely tarnished the reputation of the Cao family. Chairman Go Chong-ming was so furious he could hardly contain his wrath. I've told you. If a man cannot control himself, trouble will follow. If you seek chaos, then live like your brother. A useless man, forever alone. And Go Chong-bin, why are you in the police station again? Go Chong-ming had expected his eldest son to respond defiantly as usual. But this time he took the initiative to apologize, vowing not to let it happen again. Go Chong-ming, satisfied, said, I understand the other party struck first, but you still did your utmost to avoid conflict. You did very well. I am proud of you. After they exited, Go Chong-bong's younger brother felt a sense of grievance within, though he did not know who had revealed the address to his wife. The moment he caught that person, they would pay dearly. Meanwhile, Go Chong-bin remained lost in his father's praise. The father who usually scolds me is now showering me with compliments. In the future, I hope my father will continue to commend me. All of this was thanks to Kim Yun Seong, who had taught him how to conduct himself in such a manner. Following this incident, Go Chong-bin developed an affinity for him and declared that he would heed his every word from now on. Kim Yun Seong spoke of the next step. You should also join the company. Starting from the ground up. Upon hearing the word, ground, Go Chong-bin immediately grimaced. But soon after, he relaxed, reminding himself, just do as he says. This was the condition set by Kim Yun Seong. When I help you, you must also meet my demands. Go Chong-bin confidently declared. Say no more. For Yun Thang, I will do anything. A week later, the school's evaluation committee was set to convene. Go Chongbin's mother approached the homeroom teacher and slapped him. If you wish to continue being a teacher, you must expel the one who harmed my son. The homeroom teacher found himself in a precarious situation, advising Mr. Kim to take responsibility to lighten the punishment. Mr. Kim replied, I know that Go Chongbin's mother is pressuring you, but I advise you to be clear about your stance. If I face misfortune, you will not escape unscathed either. The homeroom teacher was desperate, unsure of how to survive this ordeal. Suddenly, he spotted a familiar figure. The guardian seated beside Yun Seong. Was that not the person he recognized? At that moment, the principal demanded that the homeroom teacher explain the cause and consequences of the incident. The homeroom teacher stated seriously, the nature of this incident is quite clear. A group of delinquent students, including Go Chongbin, bullied a classmate. Yun Seong's actions were entirely justified. The entire hall seemed to freeze. The principal broke into a cold sweat, asking, Teacher, you are certain you are not mistaken? However, the homeroom teacher continued to point the finger at Go Chongbin. On that day, Yun Seong witnessed the bullying and felt compelled to intervene. Stop hitting, we are still students. As a result, he was threatened by Go Chongbin and his group. Imagine if someone intended to harm you, would you not resist, Mr. Kim was clearly acting in self-defense. His actions towards Go Chongbin were merely for his protection, forcing him to act as he did. If we do not consider the causes and consequences of this event and simply punish Mr. Kim harshly, then we will become those who ignore the essence of violence. Principal. The principal was utterly horrified. What are you saying? We are discussing the first instance of violence in school. 4 students had to be taken to the emergency room. Under any circumstances, violence cannot be justified. Therefore, we must severely punish the students who perpetrated the violence. Only then can parents feel secure in trusting their children to us. Thus, first, let us hear Go Chongbin recount the events. The testimony of the harmed student will be more credible. Go Chongbin pretended to be frightened and began to speak. I only saw Yun Seong unilaterally attacking a classmate. We can find other witnesses to confirm this. The undeniable truth is that Yun Seong struck first. When I saw my friend being attacked, I rushed in to help. Little did I expect that Yun Seong would use a weapon. I do not understand why the teacher holds me and Yun Seong responsible for this act of violence. This matter cannot end here. That day, the teacher called Yun Seong into the office, and upon returning to class, he hit me without hesitation. I clearly did nothing wrong, yet he struck me right in front of my friends. Do you think this is my fault too? Go Chongbin's mother rushed to exaggerate the situation. Please, everyone, look at my son. He has been beaten to the point of losing all semblance of himself, in such a revered school. How can such a heinous act of violence occur? Do you think this is reasonable? This time it was Minho, but in the future, many other classmates might suffer similar violence. We must sternly punish those who commit such acts to restore peace in our school. After facing harsh criticism, the students began to support the punishment of Yun Seong. At that moment, a loud bang echoed as someone slammed their fist on the table, causing everyone to fall silent. A bunch of useless fools spouting meaningless words. Are you all pretending not to know? Don't you see that the real troublemakers are those thugs in uniform? The principal sternly declared. Students cannot simply be labeled as thugs. If they are not thugs, then what are they? I have investigated Go Chongbin's group. They frequently bully others and have stolen before. In this area, almost no one is unaware of them, yet you still choose to protect them. Have you perhaps received money from them? Those miscreants may have been beaten to the hospital, but Yun Seong acted in self-defense. Didn't the homeroom teacher already say that? We must clearly see the nature of this incident. You all, if you were bullied by such ruffians during your student days, would you choose not to resist? The sister-in-law immediately erupted in anger. How dare you call my son a thug? I heard that Yun Seong has no parents. Who are you to make such a statement? Go Chongbin displayed a smug expression. Upon hearing that Yun Seong wanted him to be his guardian, he was taken aback. Isn't it just a matter of refusal? Yun Seong responded. To achieve progress in the future, I truly need your resources. But what I need the most is supreme power. I will create many significant events in the school, which will involve legal matters. So I hope you can help me resolve all the subsequent troubles. I heard that Yun Seong has no parents. Who are you to utter such words? Go Chongbin revealed a triumphant smile. Hearing that Yun Seong wanted him to be his guardian, he felt no concern. All he needed to do was refuse. Yun Seong emphasized that he desired to accomplish significant strides in the future. I truly need your resources. But what I desire most is ultimate power. I will create great upheaval at the school, and it will involve the law. Therefore, I hope you can assist me in resolving all troubles. As long as you stand behind me and support, no one in Kim-hae will dare to touch you. I also promise to help you secure the position of inheritance. Go Chong-bin replied generously. No matter what chaos you create, I will help you resolve it. In response to Mrs. Jung's inquiry, he spoke with utmost confidence. I am the protector of Kyung-jung and the eldest son of the Kyung-jung Corporation. Kyung-jung is my dearest younger brother, he would never cause trouble without cause. Upon hearing that he was summoned to the council for review, I abandoned all my duties to be here at once. Initially, I planned to represent the Kyung-jung Corporation to donate to this school. But now I find that unnecessary. It is unimaginable that this place not only lacks quality but is also steeped in a grotesque atmosphere. He endures relentless bullying every day. Is it so that for merely rebelling once, he must suffer such cruel punishments? So why, in the past, when he was bullied, did the school remain indifferent and cold? If it is because he lacks wealth and background that you turn a blind eye, then I will ensure that this prestigious school crumbles entirely. All those who have bullied him, along with those who have sheltered them, I will use every ounce of power to ensure they have no place in Kim-hae. Everyone present could feel the majesty of Go Chong-bin. The principal could hardly fathom this. The eldest son of the Kyung-jung Corporation is the protector of Kim Yun Seong. If, in this situation, you stubbornly shield Go Chong-bin, there will be no opportunities to connect with the Kyung-jung Corporation. Your school will also be shunned by other powers. However, if you abandon Go Chong-bin, it will be a splendid opportunity to win Kyung-jung's favor. At that point, becoming a nationally renowned school will be merely a matter of time. The principal immediately shifted all attention to Go Chong-bin. In truth, I had also heard rumors that he was a key figure in that group of thugs. Kim Yun Seong is the most outstanding student I have ever known at the Heavenly Sun School. For such an exceptional student to be in trouble, there must be a reason. Therefore, let us listen to the statement of Kim Yun Seong. Kim Yun Seong said, "In the past, my friend repeatedly reported to the teachers, but each time the response was that Go Chong-bin was not that kind of student. Even when the truth was confirmed, they merely issued empty warnings. This only emboldened Go Chong-bin's group to become more arrogant and aggressive. Even though I struck Go Chong-bin and sent some people to the emergency room, why must I attend the review council just because I used violence once? Is it because the severity of this incident is too great? Do you think I lack strength? If you do not take strict action against the wrongdoers from before, I will expose this matter beyond the school, so everyone can see the true face of this institution. The only way to silence me is through a fair punishment." Mrs. Jung panicked. "I will not allow you to punish my son. Just wait, I will call my husband." As the call connected, she immediately sought her husband's help. But upon hearing the name Go Chong-bin, the other person's attitude changed instantly. Shouting at Mrs. Jung, "You dare act like this in front of the heir of the Kyung-jung group? Do you wish for our entire family to be buried with you? Wretched woman, go home now. Let Go Chong-bin bear all the punishment." The atmosphere in the room became suffocating. In the end, Kim Yun Seong was sentenced to 100 hours of community service, while Go Chong-bin was expelled. Unable to accept the truth, he lunged forward but was halted by a hand. It was his mother. Kim Yun Seong grinned wickedly and said, "Kneel and beg me." Go Chong-bin thought he must have misheard. "I told you to kneel and beg me. I've been expelled. Why should I kneel to you?" "Well, you should ask your mother. Should he kneel or not?" Mrs. Jung turned her head to avoid his gaze. Kim Yun Seong continued, "Do whatever it takes to appease my feelings, perhaps I will forgive you." At that moment, Mrs. Jung spoke up, "Minho, kneel and beg him quickly." Although Go Chong-bin didn't understand what was happening, he obediently knelt. "I'm sorry. I won't dare to do it again." But Go Chong-bin did not forgive him. "Just wait, the rest of your life will only become more miserable." The council meeting finally came to an end. Kim Yun Seong began to confront the forces that had caused him his life. "Do you know the fastest way to improve your academic performance in this school? It is to bribe the bullies, continuously harassing students better than you, until their grades plummet, or even until they drop out." On the night Kim Yun Seong successfully made the bully Go Chong-bin kneel before him, Park Myung-chul sent a message requesting a meeting. Upon seeing Kim Yun Seong arrive, Park Myung-chul immediately took the initiative to engage. "Don't beat around the bush. Get straight to the point." Park Myung-chul's purpose was clear. Even Go Chong-bin, with his connections, was forced to kneel. Thus, he, a powerless brat, surely could not stir up trouble. Therefore, he pleaded with Kim Yun Seong for mercy, hoping that as long as he was forgiven, the school would not expel him. From now on, whatever you say, I will obey, even if it means becoming a beast of burden. Then, he revealed a secret, that there was a force behind them commanding them to bully Kim Yun Seong. As he hesitated to speak out, Kim Yun Seong seized him. I know who the force behind you is. While in a vegetative state, I saw a news report on TV about a student who jumped from a building. This student left behind a suicide note, revealing the truth about an organization named Golden Kim, yet their core members remain unexposed. The founder of Golden Kim witnessed weak students being bullied, enduring unimaginable pain. From that moment, he conceived an ambitious business idea. He began recruiting outstanding students from the school, then struck deals with wealthy and powerful parents. They not only protected their children throughout their schooling but also ensured that their achievements always topped the charts. His method was to command thugs to eliminate those students who excelled beyond others. Kim Yun Seong, to enact his revenge, must expose the entirety of Golden Kim's power and annihilate it. Tell me, how did Golden Kim find you? Park Myung-chul could not fathom that he knew every detail. It was senior Shin Young-myung who contacted us. And Shin Young-myung was the one who held sway over the entire school. He need not be a member of Golden Kim, but at least through him, one could connect to that organization. However, Shin Young-myung was not an easy opponent to deal with. Later, he would become an outstanding professional athlete. Now, seeking him out would only lead to suffering. At present, a decision on how to proceed must be made. Since becoming a vegetable, the hatred for Park Myung-chul has only grown. My grandmother once knelt down to apologize, but in return, she was met with curses and humiliation. Now, I will show you what happens every time we meet again. Kim Yun Seong struck his face with great force. In his past life, Park Myung-chul not only had a wife and children but also became a model husband. Go Chong Bin and the others lived well too. I never believed in the notion of evil meeting evil. Only karmic retribution is the eternal truth. I hope your future lives will bear scars that cannot be erased. After Go Chong Bin was expelled, Kim Yun Seong became a hot topic of discussion in the classroom. A silent person suddenly erupting in anger is truly terrifying. Such individuals, once enraged, completely transform. Just then, Kim Yun Seong appeared. The once boisterous classroom fell into an eerie silence. As he sat down, someone nearby leaned in and uttered a word of thanks. It turns out that the chubby boy was previously rescued by Kim Yun Seong from the clutches of Park Myung-chul. He felt immensely grateful for Kim Yun Seong's heroic act and expressed that he would be at his service in the future. Kim Yun Seong responded coldly. Before the council, don't pretend you know nothing. You claim to be afraid and therefore dare not testify for me. Yet now you know gratitude. Do you find that reasonable? From now on, whatever happens to you, I will no longer care. Right now, disappear from my sight. I do not wish to see your face. At that moment, Shin Young-myung was struggling to contain his rage. At first, I thought Kim Yun Seong had no background, but his protector turned out to be the eldest son of the Kyung-jung group. In Kim Hae, no force could rival Kyung-jung. However, Shin Young-myung refused to give up, for this would provide him with a reason to demand more money from Bang Kim. He then summoned a first-grade boy to meet him. Before long, the first-grade leader, Park Chin-nguyen, trembled as he stepped onto the rooftop. His voice rolled like a storm. In your class, there's a boy named Kim Yun Seong. You are to beat him to a pulp, until he lacks the strength to move. At that very moment, Kim Yun Seong was also preparing to face the lurking dangers ahead. He had to maintain his outstanding performance. Thus, he would become a thorn in the side of one of Bang Kim's members. Currently, he had a few suspicious targets, but without solid evidence, he could not act hastily. The immediate goal was to enhance his physical strength. To achieve this, after school, he went to the gym of Jung Do-chul. He was once the first world champion in mixed martial arts, but now, he was merely a retired athlete. Living in obscurity, Jung Do-chul asked him what course he wanted to choose. Kim Yun Seong replied, I want to improve my combat skills. Enough to crush all the bullies in school. Jung Do-chul's expression immediately darkened. If you are only here to fight, then I cannot teach you. Jung Do-chul, the first UFL champion of this nation, had chosen to live in this small place, managing a gym after being caught using banned substances during a test. He offered no explanations and thus closed the chapter on his sports career. However, he had spent 2.5 years training a fighter capable of reaching the finals. If I could receive his personal training, then my fighting ability, my skills would surely increase significantly. Kim Yun Seong stated frankly. In the past, to defeat my opponents, I had tried every possible means. I am simply doing my utmost to achieve my goals. What's wrong with that? Jung Do-chul responded, "It is because of my foolishness that I made this mistake. If given another chance, I would never choose this path again. I do not want you to face the dire consequences that I have endured. You should go home. I cannot help you. I will give you $1 billion for just agreeing to teach me. I will transfer the money within a day. I will pay you up front. And even if I change my mind, you will lose nothing. You should have considered the outcome before using drugs. You should have thought about the result you face now. Yet in the end, you still chose to use drugs. I have chosen to learn how to fight and confront the bullies. I might be crippled for life, or I might end up in prison, but I am ready to bear all consequences. Just like when you chose to use drugs. I also have a strong desire. I need your help." Jung Do-chul finally changed his attitude. "I can assist you with training. But first, there is a test. Come with me to the arena. If you can stand firm with me for 1 round and endure until the end, then I will acknowledge your determination." That night, when he returned home, Grandma was heartbroken upon seeing Yun Seong's miserable state. "Who on earth beat my grandson to this extent? Tell me now, and I will not let him go." When Yun Seong proposed using $1 billion as tuition, Yoon Do-jaeon decided to give him a chance to prove himself. Just as long as he could remain standing in the arena for 3 minutes, he would receive the money. As soon as the test began, Yoon Do-jaeon launched the first strike. A powerful punch came crashing down on Yun Seong's blocking arm. Although he thought he had successfully defended himself, the punch broke through and struck his nose. Pain radiated throughout his body. Yun Seong could not maintain control and fell to the ground. "Get up." Only 10 seconds have passed. Immediately afterward, Yoon Do-jaeon unleashed a barrage of punches like a raging storm. Yun Seong could only protect his head. A solid hit would surely knock him out. Suddenly, Yoon Do-jaeon changed his attack, delivering a terrifying low sweep. The sweep caused him to lose his footing instantly. It's not too late to give up. Yun Seong gritted his teeth against the pain and stood up again. 3 minutes aren't over yet. To avoid being completely worn out by his opponent, Yun Seong decided to counterattack, reversing the tide. But for a professional athlete, this was akin to exposing one's weakness. The chin is the most vulnerable spot. Yun Seong fell to the ground. Yoon Do-jaeon truly needed the money, but he could not lower his pride for someone who could not withstand this kind of hit. "Is this all you got?" But a voice rang out from behind. "It's not over, we continue." Yoon Do-jaeon did not expect this person to possess such fierce determination. It turned out he was here to learn martial arts, not merely to talk. However, earlier, fearing for his safety, Yoon Do-jaeon hadn't used his full strength. This time, he had to strike with all his might. Yun Seong defended his head while preparing to confront his opponent. He launched a low sweep again, but Yoon Do-jaeon altered his attack's direction. A powerful punch struck the ribs. A brutal blow that felt like being torn apart inside. The one attacked could feel nausea, fainting, or even death. Yun Seong began to tremble uncontrollably. He wanted to rise, but his body refused to obey. This pain is unbearable, even for the strongest will. "Kid, you should just give up and go home." Inside Yun Seong's heart, a relentless scream echoed. "You are worthless. Get up for me, haven't you been waiting for this moment for so long? You've been lying in bed like a vegetable for 10 years. Wishing for the end every single day. You can't even endure this little pain? If you want to avoid repeating past mistakes, get up now." Under the astonished gaze of Yoon Do-jaeon, Yun Seong finally rose once more. "That punch just now, even a professional fighter wouldn't withstand it. What has your life been like? If a person like that possesses strength, this entire world would be doomed. To ensure you won't regret it for a lifetime." Yoon Do-jaeon vowed to stop him at all costs. This punch, Yoon Do-jaeon used every ounce of his strength. Yun Seong kept telling himself to be resilient. Even if his nose was broken and teeth fell out, he had to endure with all his might. Yoon Do-jaeon's attacks grew increasingly fierce. When Yun Seong could no longer maintain his defensive stance, the countdown bell of 3 minutes pulled him back from the brink of death. Yoon Do-jaeon couldn't help but exclaim, "Damn it! This kid has really held on this long. Don't go home and say I hit you. I'll send you my bank account number later." Grandmother looked at her bruised grandson, her heart tightening. "Mr. Jin, comfort him. It was just a little scuffle at school. But everything has been resolved." During the meal, he asked if the grandmother had any savings at all. "The Wangsheng Corporation has just launched a new real estate project. You should try to secure a spot. Who knows, we might get selected, and surely it will lead to greater opportunities." Yun Seong wanted to directly hand her $1, but doing so would definitely raise questions about where the money came from. This way, she wouldn't be suspicious. The next day, the thug Park Jung-woo called Park Jin-woo to the rooftop. Then, he patted him on the shoulder, praising his agility. "I just gave the order. And you already took down Yun Seong. I'm very pleased with you. From now on, tell everyone you are my little brother." Park Jin-woo was utterly bewildered by the unfolding events until he caught sight of Yun Seong's battered face. What in the world happened to this kid? Did he get beaten up outside the school due to his arrogance? It seems that Jung-woo has mistaken me for the one responsible for this. However, if he has been hurt to this extent, he is certainly not a strong opponent. He then commanded his followers to inform everyone. Anyone who has been close to Yun Seong will face my wrath. Under the expert guidance of Young Do-jaeon, Yun Seong embarked on a high-intensity training regimen that felt like a nightmare. Young Do-jaeon increasingly recognized the extraordinary endurance that Yun Seong possessed. Therefore, he decided to implement a special training method for him. "As long as you keep pace with my training, one day, everyone will bow before you." A week later, while diligently training, Yun Seong unexpectedly crossed paths with his old friend, Jin Seok-woo. Upon hearing his friend's words, "I don't want to isolate you like the other students," Yun Seong felt a vague confusion. Jin Seok-woo was unaware that Yun Seong had yet to realize he was being isolated. "Park Jin-woo has threatened every class. Anyone who gets close to him will pay the price. You and I have shared a friendship for 10 years. So regardless of what happens, I cannot allow my friend to be isolated." In his past life, when Jin Seok-woo discovered he was being bullied, he immediately stood up to defend himself. But from that moment on, he became a target for the bullies. After having a leg broken, he pretended not to recognize himself. One day, Jin Seok-woo, in a state akin to a vegetable, came to apologize. "If there's a next life, I promise I won't abandon you. In this life." Yun Seong did not wish for his friend to suffer because of him. "Don't pretend we know each other. Just isolate me like the other students, and I will handle everything myself." But Jin Seok-woo firmly insisted. "I will not let you face this alone. After class, I will find you again." Yun Seong did not want to drag him into his troubles, otherwise he could only live in misery as before. Beyond family, all close relationships had to be severed. After class, Yun Seong was frantically searching for a way to convince Jin Seok-woo to give up. But he had yet to appear. "Jin Seok-woo is in trouble. I just saw Park Jin-woo dragging him away." Yun Seong's heart raced suddenly. Without hesitation, he dashed outside like a leopard. In his previous life, his good friend had suffered a broken leg at the hands of bullies to protect him. In this life, to prevent Jin Seok-woo from being entangled in his fate, Yun Seong had urged him to pretend not to know him. But after class, he heard Park Jin-woo dragging him outside alone. Yun Seong did not want the tragedy of his past life to repeat itself. At that moment, Park Jin-woo led a group of people, cornering Jin Seok-woo in the restroom. "I have warned everyone not to get involved with Yun Seong. Can't you hear me? Or do you not take me seriously?" Jin Seok-woo faced the thugs without a trace of fear. "He is my best friend. If you want to fight, then let's go. Stop your endless chatter." Park Jin-woo opened his mouth, but before he could speak, Jin Seok-woo struck first. A powerful punch left him utterly humiliated in front of his subordinates. Instantly, he commanded everyone to attack together. But what worried Jin Seok-woo the most was Yun Seong. He understood that Yun Seong had done everything to prevent situations like this from happening. Yet here they were, embroiled in chaos. Although Yun Seong was undoubtedly furious, he couldn't bring himself to turn a blind eye. To him, Yun Seong was not merely a childhood friend, he was a vital part of his life. Therefore, he absolutely could not give up. Park Jin-woo quickly seized the opportunity, delivering a kick to Jin Seok-woo's chest. "I heard you practice taekwondo. But in the end, you're just a fool trying to muscle in. You think you're skilled after learning just a few moves. You need to understand the context. If anyone is to blame, it's you for overestimating yourself. From today onward, I will make you and Yun Seong suffer every single day. Whenever I want, I will call you out. You'd better brace yourself." At that moment, the bathroom door was suddenly kicked open. Yun Seong shouted in rage. "What the hell are you doing?" He had planned to deal with Park Jin-woo. Today was the perfect opportunity to teach him a lesson. But the disparity in strength between the two was too great. Yun Seong could only resort to provocation. "He made me lose my composure. Everyone said I was beaten by him." Hearing that, my pride felt wounded. You, the fat pig who only knows how to eat, dared to say I was defeated by you. How humiliating. Even when facing Kim Thatch Ngu, you had to rely on others for help. He adjusted the situation and immediately proposed a one-on-one with Kim Yun Seong. This muscle-bound fool could only rely on brute strength, making his movements clumsy. Kim Yun Seong easily spotted the openings and countered without hesitation, taunting his opponent all the while. This massive physique was truly a waste. Park Jin-woo, a destroyer, charged in with sheer force, utterly confident in himself. But Kim Yun Seong had learned how to respond from Jung Do-chol. He maintained a safe distance while relentlessly attacking. He continued to assault Park Jin-woo until he could barely stand. Today, he would make everyone feel profound fear. Seeing this, Park Jin-woo stood on the edge of despair. Although the thugs might have the upper hand, in the end, he was